Hey, it's Matt Haynes, and Deity Microphones reached out to me recently and said, we really loved the review you did for the VMic D4 Mini, and can we send you its bigger brother, sister, cousin, the VMic D4? And to be honest, the D4 Mini is the little shotgun microphone you're most likely to see on my camera when I'm out and about, because it's just so convenient, it sounds good, you know, there's no hassle, it's just so well thought out. So I'm interested in hearing how this sounds, because, you know, it's bigger. Bigger's better, maybe, right? I don't know. And also, I'm trying to maintain a cool reviewer composure here, but the feature set on this is really interesting. There's some cool features that they've added that I'm not sure I've seen elsewhere for an on-camera microphone. So I'm excited. I think it's gonna be really cool. I really hope it sounds good, because if it sounds like garbage, then it doesn't matter what the feature set is. So let's find out. Also, stick around to the end of the video, because I am gonna get the D4 Mini out as well, so we can compare the sound of these two microphones. Is there a family resemblance? I don't know. Is one better than the other? Probably. I would hope this one is better, but we'll find out. All right, so we gotta open this box. In the box there, we have their signature yellow cables. Now, this is one of the interesting things already, and you're thinking like, cables? That's interesting? Yeah, it is, because, not because they're cables, but the way they've designed this. So what we have in here is we have USB-C to USB-C cable. That should have you already thinking, wait a minute, how am I gonna plug this into the analog input of my camera? Well, they have a USB-C to mini jack to go into your analog input on your camera. Okay, problem solved. So you're wondering, what's the USB-C, USB? What they've done is they have an output port on the side, and it's hybrid. It's digital or analog. It just knows. I don't know how it knows, but it just knows. And so you just use the same port to plug directly digital to digital. So it must have an analog to digital converter in there, but you can plug it directly into your phone or to a computer, but you can also plug it into your analog camera input. So this is great. One port does all that. Now the microphone comes with a shock mount, as you can see, but it's a lot more low key than the D4 Mini. The D4 Mini is bright yellow. This is black and very serious and professional, but it has the same kind of, what is that, Rycoat, I believe, the same Rycoat kind of suspension there. So that should be pretty good. And then it's got this support structure here, because the microphone does feel heavier from what I remember compared to the D4 Mini. So that'll fit on the hot shoe there of your camera, or the accessory shoe. And then it also has a 1/4" 20 screw there, so you can mount it on a tripod or something like that. So this plastic, it's not just a foamy pop filter, there's like a base to it, okay? So that should be more durable, because it's not gonna catch on anything. So this is what it looks like without the pop filter. So quite a bit longer than the Mini. It's halfway to like a Sennheiser shotgun or something like that. Interesting. All right, and they did come with a little box here as well. It's a little information card. And I always want these to be stickers, but they're not. They're just squares or rectangles of pieces of cardboard with QR codes and stuff. And this is a dead cat. Based on the size there, that's gonna fit over this, rather than swapping them out, which I think is good, because that way you don't lose the pop filter. Think how shiny that is. It looks like my cat. Well, it is a dead cat, so my cat's alive. All right, that's what's in the box. I think we gotta go use it now, but of course we have silica gel, so kids, don't eat this.
I've taken the Deity VMic D4 on a mic hike, and the first thing I noticed when I picked up my rig here is that it is substantially heavier than the D4 Mini, which makes sense, but if you're going a long distance, you want to keep that in mind. Normally, when I'm using a shotgun microphone on my camera, I just leave the dead cat on, because you never know when you need some wind protection, right? And usually the sound difference between having the dead cat on and dead cat off doesn't make a difference, but the dead cat on this microphone is so lush. I mean, it's like a small animal, and I'm wondering if there's a difference in sound quality. So I want to check that out right now. So this is with the dead cat on. And this is with the dead cat off, and it just has the foam pop filter on it. So dead cat's right here, pop filter's still on, and then let's take that off. All right, now the microphone is completely naked, no pop filter, no dead cat, and we'll find out how it sounds when I get back to the studio. The Deity D4 is a super cardioid microphone, I believe, which means that it's really hypersensitive to sound in front of it. It rejects sounds off to the sides, and then as a trade-off has a little bit of sensitivity behind it. So let's check that out right now. This, of course, is on axis, and then we have 90 degrees off axis. We have 180 degrees off axis. And then we have 90 degrees back on the other side. And then back to 0. Unlike the D4 Mini, which relies on your camera to power it, this microphone is battery powered. And it has a cool feature where it detects if your camera's turned on and turns itself on, and then shuts itself off when you turn off your camera. So that saves the battery. And Deity claims that there's a 60-hour battery life. I haven't had this yet long enough to check that out. There's another cool feature on this microphone. It has a single output jack, which is a hybrid digital analog jack. So you get a couple of different cables, and you can either plug it from your microphone into the analog input of your camera, like I'm doing now, or you can use a USB-C port with the other cable and plug it into your phone, into a computer, and then you've got a digital signal there. So that's really efficient design. I like that. The microphone has a really hot output as well, which is good if you're using an analog input on a camera, because camera preamps tend to be kind of cruddy. And so not only does this have a loud output on the microphone, it has an adjustable dial on the end, so you can go, I believe, +10 to -5, but that's really helpful for getting your levels dialed in just right. Another little thoughtful feature is that the shock mount for this microphone is shaped so that it's also a cold shoe mount, so you can mount things to it. And the idea there is that you can use a wireless microphone system and then use this as a wireless boom mic, so you don't have cables running from it to your camera. We're going to try that out later. Since the Deity V-Mic D4 is like the bigger cousin or bigger sibling to the D4 Mini, I thought it might be useful to compare the two and get kind of a side-by-side comparison. Now, I had really hoped to use this cool feature of the D4 Mini, which is it has an auxiliary microphone input. So you can plug a lavalier mic into it or another microphone, and then it will split the two signals from the microphone and from whatever's being input to two different channels. So you can record two separate microphone inputs. That's pretty cool. However, the D4, the cable for the D4 macro, I don't know what to call it to compare it to the Mini, just the regular big old D4. The cable is a TRRS. The Mini is looking for a TRS input, so it doesn't work. So I got to swap back and forth with the cables. No big deal. That's my problem, not your problem. Now, we are listening to the D4 Mini, and I don't have any pop filters on. All the dead cats are off, so that you're just hearing plain old microphone. Now, shotgun microphones are prone to plosive, so you might hear some popping from the P's and the B's that I'm making, but that's why we do these tests. We want to hear the unvarnished version of the microphone. Now we're listening to the D4 regular, extra large, the big one, the new one. Anyway, this is the D4 again. All the dead cats are off, no pop filters. We are just listening to the microphone itself. And again, just like the Mini, it's probably prone to plosives. You try and say that.
This is actually my second attempt at recording this segment because I ran into some audio problems with the microphone. You see, I thought it would be fun to hook up a wireless mic system, use those cold shoe mounts for their intended purpose to finish up with my conclusion. However, when I hooked up the wireless microphone system to the D4, I discovered a problem: radio frequency interference. The transmitter is interfering with the microphone, and I got all sorts of humming and noise, and it made my audio completely useless. Here, let me show you. I'm going to take the transmitter and bring it up to the microphone body here. But what I noticed also is that there isn't interference when I use other microphones. So let me plug in a couple other microphones here so that you can hear what I mean. Now here I have the D4 Mini, which is also made by Deity, and listen to what happens when I put the transmitter up to the microphone body. No noise. Okay, now I'm going to do another microphone. Now I've got the Sennheiser MKE-600 here, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to hold the transmitter up to the microphone body.
So you may be thinking to yourself, maybe it's something to do with the wireless microphone system. And I was wondering the same thing. So fortunately, I have another wireless microphone system handy. So let me swap all those out and we'll take another listen. I've taken the D4 and I've plugged it into the Comica wireless microphone system. And this particular wireless system is designed to plug right into my iPhone. So I have the iPhone recording audio, but you're obviously watching this from a nicer camera. Okay, so I'm going to take this transmitter and I'm going to put it close to the body of the V-Mic D4. So the noise sounds different, but it's definitely there. Now we're trying out the D4 Mini with the Comica wireless microphone system, and I'm gonna put the transmitter next to the camera body. You might hear some handling noise, but what we're listening for is that buzzing radio frequency noise. All right, one more microphone. Now I'm using the Sennheiser MKE-600 microphone again with the Comica wireless microphone system, and I'm going to put the transmitter up to the body here. There you go. Now I'm back to the new D4, but this time I'm just hardwired directly into my camera so that we can avoid any radio frequency interference noise. And I asked Deity about this, and they said that their wireless system doesn't interfere with the D4. So they thought it might be that the fact that the Rode Go 2 wireless might be inferior and or the Comica system might be inferior. And I see that that could be an argument. However, it's concerning that even other Deity products don't have this level of interference. So it's something specific to the new D4. The D4 Mini, there's barely any noise at all. The D4, there's a lot of noise. You know, in reality, this is probably a less likely scenario for most people. I don't think most people are going to hook up a wireless microphone system to a shotgun microphone system just so they can boom it, you know, and have it more convenient. If you are going to do that, then you probably either want to not use the D4 and use whatever wireless system you already have, or if you're using the D4, use the Deity wireless system. I think Deity should probably change their product webpage for the D4 though, because they specifically talk about this kind of wireless microphone use. So with this noise issue, I thought, is the D4 susceptible to other sources of radio interference besides, you know, wireless transmitters? And so this is a very informal test, but I got my phone out and put it next to the microphone while I was, you know, monitoring with headphones, access the internet, the Wi-Fi. I didn't hear any interference there, so it's probably isolated to the wireless microphone issue. If you're not using this microphone in conjunction with a wireless system, the D4 is really well thought out. That hybrid output jack is really handy because a simple plug of a cable and now you have a USB microphone. You can use it for streaming, for podcasting. It's ready to go. Now, Deity doesn't mention this on their website, but the digital output is 48 kilohertz, 24-bit, so that's really good quality, and the digital signal sounds very clean. I'm not hearing any hiss, I'm not hearing any microphone noise like self noise, and that variable gain knob controls the level for the digital signal as well as the analog signal. If you're using this microphone outdoors or you're moving it around a lot, you're really going to need the dead cat. Now, the dead cat attenuates the high frequencies a little bit too much for my taste, but it's still very usable, and you could probably EQ it back to what you like. If you're not using the dead cat, the sound quality of the microphone is superb, and I think it's as good as microphones costing many times as much. So with those caveats in mind, I can recommend the new D4. In fact, I don't think I'm going to be using my D4 Mini very much anymore, because even though this is only twice the price of the D4 Mini, in terms of features and value and sound quality, I think it's worth 3 or 4 times as much. And to be honest, I really don't think I'm going to hook this up to a wireless mic system all that often. Speaking of wireless microphone systems, there are a whole lot of brands out there selling wireless microphones. In fact, in this video, we've talked about the Deity system, you've seen the Rode system and the Comica system, but how do you know which one's right for you? Well, I have made a video that compares 3 different microphone systems from 3 different manufacturers at wildly different price points. And the results were kind of surprising. So click here and watch the video and maybe you'll find a system that's right for you.